My name is Witterman. I'm the Chief Client Officer in Europe at Lewis, and I'm recording this in Germany. I'm saying that because 2 days ago, the German football team lost against South Korea and dropped out of the World Cup in Russia. For those who don't know, the World Cup in Russia is the biggest sports event for any European at least. There are more people watching this event on television than any Olympics. Now, the loss of the German team had some very interesting consequences, which also have, I think, some lessons for our industry and definitely has some consequences for the advertising industry. When I watched the game during the breaks, I could see a lot of commercials where about 80% of them circled around the German team, how inspirational they were, how courageous, and how engaged, all positive, obviously. Now, after the game, and this was not even 2 weeks into the tournament, which is taking up 4 weeks, the team came across as extremely uninspired, very nervous, extremely complacent. The exact opposites of the messages in the commercials. Now, I wonder what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks during the Football World Cup. They are probably going to pull some of those commercials. They're probably going to replace some of them with a different message. But that would bring me to the first lesson. You need to be prepared if you are using personal branding that is going to be aligned with your company or with your services. If you do that, you need to be prepared for a different, for a potentially unexpected outcome. So if you are developing a certain storyline, you need to have a secondary storyline, which may come into effect if something like this happens. Second, you would need a story that survives this unexpected outcome. So you may have something underlying your original story which may also still work if the person that is embodying your brand, or the team in this case, if it doesn't perform according to your expectations, you should have a storyline that could still be used after such a different outcome. And obviously, the question is if you should have individual branding, if you should use people, sports people in particular, teams, for your company branding. Because as we can see, there can be very bad consequences. Maybe a funny story at the end of this. In Germany, we are very often talking about the Nutella curse. Nutella, as most of you may know, is a chocolate cream for your bread. And over the course of many World Cups, Nutella used young players from the German football team as personal evangelists or references for Nutella. Now, it turned out that pretty much every player that was used in these Nutella commercials did not have a great career after all, which is why we're talking of the Nutella curse. Obviously, this also badly reflects on your brand. So, when you're watching the football tournament, or if you're watching any other sports tournament, and if you see personal branding closely associated with a certain team and a certain brand, then watch out, learn, try to understand what is actually happening and what you can learn from this. I find the Football World Cup now very boring because my team's not playing anymore, but with this in mind, it's still an interesting World Cup because I may continue to learn from it.